Hi everyone, and welcome to episode number 109 of the Karen Knits podcast. My name is Karen, and I'm coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania, where I live, where I work, where I knit and crochet, and get into all kinds of other crafting shenanigans. I'm so happy to have you here with me today. It is Saturday, April 30th, 2022, and it's a gorgeous day out today. It's in the 60s. Sunny, light breeze. It's a gorgeous day out today. To me, this is perfect spring weather. I love this kind of weather. So if you're a new viewer, thank you so much for popping by to check me out. I hope you're happy here. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back for another week to see what I've been up to. Always happy to have you back week after week. I appreciate everyone that comes in to check and see what I've been up to and watch what I have to yak about. So this week has been fairly busy. It has, I don't know if it seemed super productive, but it's been busy. Between school stuff, finishing up the semester, almost, and Sock Madness, it's been a busy week. So, Sock Madness 16, round 3, they're done. And I've made it into round 4 of Sock Madness. Sock Madness 16, so the 16th year it's run. So this is PLYMOUTH, and it is a pattern by Liz. Sorry about that. This is a pattern by Liz Sedmak. And I love this pattern. It has some really cool details that I've not done before and that are really neat. So I just finished knitting these last night, about 10 o'clock. Sent in my email that I was done. Waited for a little while. Decided that the mods that were checking through them are probably pretty busy with all of the things coming in. Fell asleep. Got up this morning to find that my socks were approved and that I would be advancing to round 4. So that the acceptance email came in at like 10 after 4 in the morning. So I'm glad I didn't try staying up to wait and see. I was a tiny bit concerned that maybe I had missed something or they needed more clear pictures or something, but it was all fine. So that is good. So this pattern, I'm going to talk about some of the details on it. These are toe up, so we started at the toe, worked up to the top of the sock, and there's some really cool details. There are I think I read somewhere, someone was calculating, and there are well over 1,000 cable crosses in this design. There's a ton of cables in this design. They're little two stitch cables and 3 stitch cables all the way through. And they start right at the toe. You cast on the toe, and one of the first rounds you're already starting cables, and the pattern starts right away at the toe. So there are a row of cables going up here, the 2 stitch cables. Then there is a row of knit through the back loop. Then there's a 3 stitch cable, back stitch, more of the 2 stitch cable, the 3 stitch, and it just alternates back and forth all the way up the majority of the leg. The gusset decreasing. You can tell I'm used to doing top down socks far more often when I'm talking about toe or gusset decreasing. So the gusset increasing is in here, and then it has this really cool heel flap. This was worked, it started here and you went this way. So you've got a cable running horizontally around the sock. And then when you get to the top of, or when you get to the heel flap is done, you picked up the stitches and then you continued knitting the cable design all the way up the front and the back of the sock. So then you work the leg up a certain distance, and then there's a horizontal section on the top of the leg. And that was really cool. You added some stitches and then you worked horizontally around. Then there was a duplicate stitch type of way to join. Mine's not the smoothest. It was supposed to look seamless. Mine did not look that way. One sock looked better than the other sock. I think that was because of practice. So you can see that the one sock looks a little bit smoother than the first sock was. Such is life. And then you do a rib portion, and then so this kind of heel flap was different for me. This was absolutely different. First time I've done this kind of heel flap. First time I've done this kind of thing on a sock. Then you did the ribbing, and at the top of the ribbing, when you did the bind off, you used Elizabeth Zimmerman's sewn bind off. And I have never done that before, and I kind of like it. It's got a nice stretch to it, nice elasticity to it. It's not flary, is that a word? It doesn't flare all funky like some of the toe-up bind-offs do. But I like it. I think they turned out fantastic. I'm really, really happy with these. And I'm also really, really happy that I'm advancing to round 4. I'm not sure how the timing is going to work for round 4 for me, but so be it. The yarn I used for these is yarn I dyed myself. And I used 2.25 millimeter needles. Is that a US size 1, I believe? But they're 2.25 millimeter. That's my typical go-to sock knitting size of needle. Unless it's color work, then I typically go up to a 2.5 millimeter. But they're done. And basically, since I signed off last Saturday until I went to bed last night, this is the only thing I knit on or crocheted. I did not touch anything else until this morning. And even this morning I tucked in the last of the tails on these socks and did the final finish up on the socks this morning as I was sipping my tea. So Sock Madness 16 round 3 is in the bag for me, and I'm really excited to be moving on to the next round. This current round seems to be moving a little bit more slowly than previous rounds have moved. I think a lot of it has to do with the different techniques that we're using. The horizontal pieces are a little bit slower to get started and get the hang of, and just the number of cable crosses that we had to do. For me, that really slowed me down. But they're done and I'm excited. This round, the deadline to finish all of the socks in this round is this upcoming Tuesday morning at 9:05 in the morning Eastern US time. And there's still quite a few spots left on quite a few teams. I don't think this pattern or this round is going to finish before the deadline on Tuesday morning. I might be wrong. People might have a lot of spare time this weekend to knit and might finish up. or it might go to the deadline. I have a feeling though that there's probably going to be several teams, especially the slower teams, where all the spots will not fill. For example, on my team, Team B, or Beethoven, we have, I think, 11, 12, or I was person number 11 to finish on my team. And I think there might be 12 or 13 have finished since last night. And there's 24 spots available for each team. So we still have more than half of our spots. When I got checked off the list in the middle of the night, there were still more than half the spots still available on my team, with only a few days left to go. And the same for a couple of the other slower teams. There were quite a few people still, or quite a few spots still available on each of those teams. So there is a chance that the teams might not fill up. We shall see come Tuesday morning. But in the meantime, now that this round, I'm finished with this round of Sock Madness, I'm switching back to working on my other whips. So again, as I mentioned, I have not had time to touch any other project except my socks since I last talked to you last weekend and till last night when I went to bed. So this morning, whoops, don't untangle. Thanks. This morning I picked up one of the blankets I was working on for my friend who gave me some yarn that used to belong to her mother. And this is the Granny Stripes blanket by Lucy of Attic 24. And when I saw you last, I had finished this purple portion. So I've added 2 rows of white and 1 row of blue today. And I plan on continuing to work on, probably, I might continue to work on this one for the next few days. I haven't decided completely for sure yet. But for this I'm using a variety of yarns. The yarn that she gave me was this Plymouth Yarns Galway yarn, or Galway Chunky, that's what it's called. Galway Chunky. Kind of hard to see with the light. It's a chunky weight yarn, 100% wool. Yeah. And I have a total of 9 skeins of this. I've used 3 already on the first part. And then I thought, well, I'm gonna have to stretch it out a little bit farther. And I had 2 skeins of yarn in my own stash. They're both Woolies, Lion Brand Woolies Chunky. One is this whitish color, off-white, and the other is this pretty blue. I don't know. Yeah. What is this one called? Put my glasses on so I can read it. Bluebell and Fisherman. So Fisherman and Bluebell. So I thought what I would do is, to make the blanket a little bit larger, I decided what I would do is I will do 3 skeins of the purple. Then I was going to use roughly 1/4 of the yarn in the Fisherman, and then half of the Bluebell, a little bit more of Fisherman, and then 3 more skeins of purple, and then do the same thing with the Fisherman and Bluebell, and then finish with the last 3 skeins of the purple. And I thought that way it'll make it a little bit longer, a little bit larger. And I think I really like I wasn't sure when I initially was talking about this a couple weeks ago. I wasn't completely sure if I was going to like how this would look, but I am liking it. I am finding though that the white and blue are a little bit heavier weight chunky yarn than the purple is. That's not going to make a huge difference in the grand scheme of things. So what I did with the fisherman is I did one row, then weighed my skein. And it turns out that each row uses 22 grams of yarn. And there's just a drop over 140. So I thought I'll do 2 rows of white. And then with the blue, I should be able to use 3 rows of blue. I should be able to get 3 rows of the blue and then 1 more row of white and then go back to the purple. And that should, the 3 rows of each color should use roughly half the skein of yarn, which will give me enough to do 2 of those alternate color bands between the 3 purple bands. That's the plan. We shall see how it plays out and how it works out. But I'm liking it. I'm hoping that this evening I'm going to be able to finish the white and blue portion and get back to the purple section again and see how far I can get in the next couple days with that. I'm not sure if I'll get back onto my Empress cardigan or if I will the sweater, or if I'm going to let my hands have a bit of a break and crochet instead, because it's a little bit different movements in my hands that is giving my hands a knitting rest before the next round of Sock Madness comes around. So we shall see. I might get back to the Empress top as well. I haven't decided yet. But for today, I just wanted to work on something that was simple and didn't put much strain on my hands, because my hands are tired, especially with all the cable-y twisting going on in the last pair of socks. But I love the look of those socks. So what else is new? The street runs this way. There's a truck parked that way. Okay, I'll just do some random turnaround in the middle of Main Street. Alrighty. Anyway. So what else is new? We have finished the last week of classes at school now. So yesterday was the last day of classes, and this week, oh good grief, my hair. Within the next 2 weeks, this is all going to be gone. I'm going to make an appointment to get my hair cut after Mother's Day weekend. Once the school year is completely done, I'm heading in to get it mostly chopped off and get it back to above my shoulder length. So, clip it off for the summer. Anyway, so classes are all done. I still have a little bit of grading that needs to be done today. And then once that's done, or my grading is done, this week coming up, the students are doing their final assignments or their final... 2 of my classes, they don't have a final exam, they have a final project or a paper to get done. And in the 3rd class, they have a final exam, which needs to be done. All of them have, they all have deadlines for end of the day on Wednesday coming up. So they each have until 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday. Is that the 4th? Yeah, Wednesday the 4th of May. So once everything is handed in, then I have 3 stacks of things that have to be graded, and then I need to get all the final grades submitted, turned in, all done, and completed so that I can dust off this semester and it'll be finished. This weekend, so there's all kinds of extra things going on at school right now. So on Sunday afternoon from I think 3 till 5, we have a ceremony for all the student awards that are going to be given out for top students, different academic awards, service awards, all this kind of stuff for our students. So that's on Sunday afternoon this weekend now. Then they'll have their final exams during the week. Next Friday afternoon we have faculty and staff end of academic year awards for faculty and staff, and a lunch that's served by the university. So that's on Friday over the lunch hour, and then in the afternoon is the rehearsal for graduation, and then Saturday morning is graduation. So I'm really excited for that. It's always a lot of fun. I always enjoy grad. So if the new sock pattern comes out, I'm going to be tied up. I'm not going to be able to have time to do much knitting on Friday. Saturday is going to have a good chunk of time gone. Our church is having a mother-daughter banquet on Saturday evening. Even though I don't have children, they still let all women at the church can come. Doesn't matter if you have children or not. They've just traditionally called it the mother-daughter banquet. So that's on Saturday night. And then once graduation is done though, I am 100% done with this semester. And I am so ready for a break. So it has been a very busy semester. We also wound up yesterday, our the search committee I was on. That's all done. So that's finished. Nothing more to do with that now that the search is over. So that's done. And after grad, I plan on taking a few days off. I just want to kind of just unwind. And then I need to get back into research mode and start working on getting some more papers written, edit some of the ones that I have already in progress, finish them up, get them submitted to different places, just get that ball rolling some more again. So that's the big plans for the next while. So other than that, not much else is new. Yeah, this next week is going to be busy, but once we roll around till what's that, Monday, the 9th? Yeah, the 9th of May, then I'm on relax mode. So, and then into research mode. But the research is a whole different level of workload. It's a little bit more, you can kind of do it on your own pace, and then a lot of time you're just kind of sitting there mulling over things and deciding exactly how you want to approach something and all that stuff. But anyway, this is not an academic research podcast, so, and I have no idea, you might not have any interest in any of this whatsoever. But on that note, I'm going to get going. I'll get this editing done, get it uploaded, motorcycles, get it uploaded and onto YouTube, and then I'm going to get back to working on one of the granny stripe blankets. I'll probably continue working on the purple one for the time being. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you guys again in a week. Bye.